Dawn bleeds into the Cretaceous basin, turning the thick mist into a pale, glowing veil. A herd of Parasaurolophus emerges from the tree line, their weight pressing deep into the soft, damp earth at the lake edge. They move with a rhythmic, heavy grace, heads dipping in perfect unison toward the surface of the water. Each movement is calculated, silent, and ancient. As they drink, their throat sacs begin to swell, rhythmic pulses expanding the leathery membranes. Then the sound begins. A low, resonant frequency rolls across the water, deep enough to be felt in the chest. The surface of the lake shivers. Perfect concentric rings radiate outward from each creature, overlapping and colliding in the morning light. The herd stands locked in this collective hum, a moment of profound stillness before the day truly begins. The water settles, reflecting the pale sky, and for these few minutes, the basin belongs entirely to them. There is no wind. There is no movement from the surrounding forest, only the steady, pulsing vibration of the call, echoing against the distant rock walls, marking the world as it was before the change. The harmony broke. Ears snapped toward the dense ferns as if pulled by an invisible wire. The herd stopped drinking in unison, heads jerking up, water dripping from their jaws. A sudden rustle in the shadows gave way to a blur of movement. A pack of Deinonychus erupted from the tree line, their bodies low to the ground, legs pumping with bird-like precision. They did not sprint, they surged, clearing the distance in seconds. Talons tore into the soft mud, throwing plumes of wet earth and spray into the air. The Parasaurolophus herd turned, panic replacing their earlier rhythm. They scrambled, hooves pounding against the shoreline, creating a thunderous, uncoordinated beat that drowned out the morning silence. The hunters darted around them, weaving through the chaos with lethal intent. Each time a predator lunged, the prey pivoted, creating a frantic dance of muscle and desperation. The clearing became a blur of motion, shadow, and high-pitched alarm calls. There was no room for the herd to regroup. They scattered into the thick vegetation, leaving the hunters to pace the churned-up earth, eyes scanning the perimeter for the next opening in the fray. The rhythm of the hunt faltered. A new sound began to push through the forest, a low, tectonic thud that bypassed the ears and settled deep in the marrow. Every raptor froze in place, talons sinking into the mud, heads cocked toward the dark wall of trees. The ground beneath them began to pulse. With every heavy step, ripples of water danced in the tracks left by the fleeing herd. Ferns snapped like dry kindling. A massive weight forced the tree line to yield, branches splintering under the pressure of a colossal frame. There was no hesitation. The T-Rex stepped into the open, its sheer mass dwarfing the mud and the debris of the skirmish. The raptors scattered, dissolving into the shadows as if they had never existed. The predator stopped. It lowered its head, nostrils flaring as it tasted the humid, scent-heavy air. Then, it opened its jaws. The roar was not just a sound. It was a physical force that ripped through the canopy, flattening the tall grass and silencing the forest for miles. The air vibrated with the raw, absolute authority of a master claiming its domain. Nothing moved, nothing breathed. The king had arrived. The final echo of the roar died against the distant cliffs, leaving the forest in a state of absolute stillness. The massive predator did not move to hunt. It did not track the path of the fleeing raptors. Instead, it tilted its head, the movement slow and precise, as if listening to a frequency only it could perceive. It stepped forward, each movement deliberate, avoiding the crushed ferns. Its massive snout dipped toward a dense cluster of brush near the water's edge. It did not strike. It reached out, using the very tip of its snout to nudge the foliage aside with agonizing care. A tiny, downy creature emerged, stumbling into the open space. The predator held its position, breath coming in shallow, rhythmic pulses that caused the nearby leaves to flutter. Golden light filtered through the canopy, catching the dust particles suspended in the air. The giant remained motionless, its gaze fixed on the small being. There was no aggression, only a focused, steady presence that grounded the entire clearing. The predator lowered itself further, bringing its massive head level with the ground, creating a stark bridge between the immense and the fragile. Time slowed as the two remained locked in the quiet, golden warmth of the afternoon. The predator pulled back, leaving the hatchling safe in the brush. It turned away, moving with a heavy, rhythmic gait until it reached the edge of the jagged cliff. Below, the forest stretched out, a vast expanse of green turning to gray under the shifting clouds. The creature stopped. It planted its feet firmly on the stone and stared into the western horizon. Then, the sky broke. A streak of fire tore through the gathering storm, bright and cold, casting a harsh, pale light over the entire basin. The air temperature plummeted. The wind picked up, howling through the canyons and stripping the remaining leaves from the trees. The predator did not retreat. It stood motionless, neck arched, watching the light grow in intensity as it descended toward the world. The roar of the atmosphere replaced the silence of the forest. The horizon turned white, then blindingly bright, then searingly hot. The ground beneath the predator shivered as the impact neared. It did not look away. It remained standing, a solitary figure against the end of an era, until the light expanded to fill every inch of the sky. Then, the sound was cut off. The light vanished. Only total darkness remained.